The moment the alien court fell silent, I knew someone was about to die, and I never imagined it would almost be me. I stood alone at the center of the celestial tribunal, a human speck beneath an ocean of towering alien nobility, their bodies glowing, chitinous, scaled, or shrouded in living light. The air itself hummed with power, gravity bending subtly toward the obsidian throne where the Queen of Orelise watched without blinking. I was not a diplomat. I was not a warrior. I was Earth's concession, a symbolic offering after humanity lost the border war. My heart pounded so loudly I was certain the translators would pick it up. Then the Queen's daughter stepped forward, and everything broke. But that was only the beginning. Princess Salith had been silent the entire proceeding, standing at her mother's side like a living blade wrapped in silk. Her eyes, too bright, too old, had never once met mine. Not until now. The court expected her to choose a champion species to finalize the accord. Tradition demanded logic, efficiency, advantage. No one had even glanced at the human delegate. We were weak, fragmented, emotionally unstable. I knew that because they told us constantly. When Salith descended the steps and stopped inches from me, the sound of her bare feet against crystal echoed like a gunshot. She raised one slender hand. I choose him. What I saw next changed everything. The translators hesitated, as if afraid to speak her words aloud. A ripple of shock surged through the chamber. Wings flared. Mandibles clicked. Even the Queen's expression shifted, just slightly, but enough to terrify me. I felt hundreds of alien minds recalculating futures in real time, and in every one of them humanity did not belong. I opened my mouth to protest, to explain there had been a mistake. Salith's fingers brushed my wrist, and my thoughts scattered like birds. Her touch was warm, human warm. "You don't understand," she whispered in perfect English. "None of us were prepared for the truth. They tried to kill me that night. Assassins made of shadow slipped through the diplomatic wing, bypassing human tech like it was a child's toy. I only survived because Salith was waiting in the dark, her eyes glowing softly as she tore them apart with controlled, horrifying grace. When it was over, she stood there shaking, not from fear but restraint. She told me the court could never know she intervened, that her choice had already placed her on the edge of treason. I demanded answers. She hesitated, then placed her palm against my chest. Suddenly I felt it, echoes of memories not my own. Earth burning, human voices screaming defiance, and a future that ended in silence. "But that future changes with you," she said, and I wished she was wrong. Salith revealed what the Orelise Empire never shared. The galaxy was dying. Not from war but from stagnation. Advanced civilizations had optimized themselves into extinction. Emotion stripped away, creativity sterilized, survival reduced to equations. Humanity was an anomaly. We failed constantly but we adapted violently. We loved irrationally. We sacrificed illogically. And somehow we kept going. The Orelise had been watching us for centuries, studying us like a dangerous experiment. Salith wasn't choosing me as a person. She was choosing humanity as a variable they couldn't predict. "But variables get eliminated," I said. She smiled sadly. "That's why I needed one who would refuse to be." What she confessed next chilled my blood. The Queen planned to erase Earth. Not out of malice but mercy. A clean end before humanity destabilized the galactic balance. Salith's choice triggered an ancient law. If a royal heir bonded with a lesser species willingly, that species earned custodial protection. But the bond had to be real, emotional, mutual. If the court sensed deception, they would execute us both. I was supposed to pretend to be worthy of a princess who had lived 1,000 years. I was supposed to convince an empire that a human life mattered. Alone, I had never felt smaller or more terrified. And then the Queen summoned me. What happened in that chamber changed everything. She dismissed the guards. The throne room dimmed until only we remained, separated by power older than my planet. The Queen spoke directly into my mind, her presence crushing. She showed me futures where humanity spread chaos, and futures where we inspired rebirth. "Why should my daughter gamble eternity on you?" she demanded. I thought of Earth, of my sister lost in the border war, of the stubborn, stupid hope that kept us rebuilding ruins. I didn't answer like a diplomat. "Because we don't know how to quit," I said. The queen recoiled as if struck. And for the first time she hesitated. That hesitation cost her everything. The court moved to depose Salith, accusing her of emotional corruption. The accord shattered. Civil war ignited in a single breath. Loyalists dragged me toward an escape shuttle while Salith was seized in chains of light. She didn't scream. She looked at me, calm and resolute. "This is the midpoint," she said softly. "This is where you choose who you are." I realized then the truth I had been avoiding. This was never about her choosing me. It was about whether I would choose her, and whether humanity would finally stand for more than survival. I turned back. I don't remember the pain, only the decision. I fought through beings who could have crushed me without effort, driven by something no equation could predict. I reached Salith as the queen raised her hand to end it. I stood between them, a human shield in a god's court. I told them I accepted the bond, all of it, the risk, the consequence, the responsibility. The chamber shook as ancient systems activated, recognizing a choice made without coercion. The chains shattered. The law held. Silence returned. But it was different now. In the aftermath, the queen abdicated. She claimed the empire needed a ruler who understood uncertainty. Salith ascended, not as a conqueror, but as a guardian. Earth was spared. More than that, it was invited. Not as a subject, but a partner. I remained at her side, not as a king, but as proof. Proof that a fragile species could stand in the center of the galaxy and refuse to be erased. Some nights I still wake shaking, aware of how close we came to extinction. Salith always finds me, always grounds me. "You changed fate," she tells me. I remind her she started it. The galaxy watches us now. They watch humanity rebuild, argue, create, and love with reckless intensity. They don't fully understand us. Neither do we. But the silence that once fell in that court has been replaced with something else. Anticipation. Fear. Hope. Because the queen's daughter chose a human, and the universe learned a dangerous lesson. That the weakest voice, when chosen freely, can echo forever.